Welcome to Tattoo Tabletop. Today, I'm going to tape up my chair. Ow.
Welcome to Tattoo Tabletop. My name is James, and today we are ranking our paints. So this is going to be a huge step. We're going to basically just rank the paints that I do have experience with. So in particular, the one paint I am going to call out right off the bat that I have not used, I'm sorry, it's just not the most accessible thing that I've seen out there, is P3. I've just not seen it out there. I hear people have certain affections for it. I've seen it being used by like Cult of Paint. I've seen it being used by Ninjon, but I'm sorry, I can't find it anywhere, and so I'm just not including it on here. If you think that it's going to be the absolute pinnacle S tier, let me know down in the comments down below, and maybe I'll check it. But now let's get on to our contestants. So of here we have the Army Painter, AK Interactive, Vallejo, Monument Hobbies, Citadel, Reaper, and Duncan Rhodes. Tooth and Coats. I couldn't find like a Tooth and Coats one, so it's Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy. Close enough. The only one that I have the least amount of experience with is AK Interactive. However, I do have some opinions on it, seeing it and using it very, very lightly, but it's my least experience, but we're just going to go through it anyway. Starting with number one, let's go to alphabetical, the Army Painter. The Army Painter is a brand that definitely used to put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Some of their earliest paints were just not great. They were probably just considered the very, very introductory level side of things, and even then a lot of people, I have difficulty finding people who genuinely loved the original Army Painter paints. That being said, Army Painter went through and they redid their entire acrylic range. They've done incredible things with it. It is the War Paints fanatic. I am someone who went and did a video. I actually went to Adepticon and painted up a bust with the Army Painter War Paints fanatic. The link will be up here somewhere, and I loved it. They were some of my favorite paints. I got to preview them at LVO before that. Loved the paints across the board. I frankly am just going to take them and they're going to go up to an S tier. I honestly think they're incredible. I think they're some of my absolute favorite paints. The only gripes I do have are particularly with the reds. I don't think the reds are very pigmented or very strong. They don't give a strong red color. But the rest of them, the greens and a lot of the blues, are just absolutely incredible, especially once you kind of take some time to sit down and really work through and figure them out. They're absolutely incredible. There's a reason why they did that video where they took those war paints and brought them to Monte San Cassino, which is one of the most prestigious painting competitions in the entire world, and a lot of the top painters absolutely loved them. So for me, Army Painter gets a 2 thumbs up, big S tier from me, and that's why I bought the mega set, or the complete set, and I absolutely love them to death. On to number 2, we're just going to go to AK Interactive. Now, again, like I said, I have very, very limited experience with them. They are accessible somewhat in my area here in Minnesota. I think you've mainly got to go to, I think they have some of them at The Source in Roseville, that area, and I think the Hub Hobby has a few. Honestly, I hear incredible things. There's a reason why they show up in so many videos. I know Scott the Miniature Maniac absolutely loves them, uses them all the time. I know Ninjon uses them a bunch. I mean, AK Interactive has kind of in a way become synonymous with that extreme top tier level painting, primarily because it goes through those painters. The color selection is varied. They have a lot going on for them. However, I personally am going to put them in the A tier. I think they are absolutely incredible, and there's a chance that they are a C tier paint. S tier paint, sorry, not C tier, that'd be bad. But for me, I just haven't gotten the experience with them, and also I wouldn't say that those are the paints that I would lean into for a brand new painter. I'm looking for a paint brand that's covering all your odds and ends, your top tiers, your mid tiers, and your beginning painters. I think that these are really important systems. This is what I'm going to put in place. Of course, these are also my personal preference. Again, feel free to disagree with me down in the comments. And of course, if you like this video, feel free to like, share, subscribe. That'd be absolutely lovely. Almost cursed. Next up, Vallejo. Vallejo I have very fond feelings of. Now, I use a very limited set of Vallejo paints in my time. Dark Sea Blue, they're always near and dear to my heart. But I also use the just pure white. I use the white all the time. If I'm trying to paint something pure white, I'm using Vallejo. That includes eyes, teeth, all sorts of things. If I'm mixing up colors, sometimes I don't even use like the ice yellow colors. I will use pure white and I absolutely love it. I have 3 bottles of it just in case. It is my go-to for that. For that alone, Vallejo's going up to an A. I absolutely love it. Actually, you know what? I will put Vallejo up at a S. I think the color palette is very wide, and we can see that the skill expression with Vallejo is absolutely top tier. I know that Squidmar Paints uses a ton of them, or Squidmar Paints. Aegis Squidmar? Squidmar. We're just going to go with Squidmar. Squidmar uses them all the time. They obviously have a branding with them now, and they have their own paint sets. Those are going to be incredible. I'm sure they're great. I will probably at some point pick up more Vallejo. In my case, all my painting needs are met, and also, I am still just trapped in this room. I could fit more paints. I don't know if I should. I will get yelled at, so I'm not going to. But Vallejo absolutely goes up there. I think that they're a fantastic paint range. They have really good coverage. The paints that I have used and had experience with have been absolutely incredible. So Vallejo, you also go up to the S tier. Monument Hobbies. This is where things are going to get a bit dicey. I have Monument Hobby paints. They're in... let's see if I can coordinate this. Wrong way. They're in that box. It's an Army Painter box, but that's where I have put them. I know a lot of people who live and die by Monument Hobby paints. Absolutely love them to death. They're their favorite things. They're just not for me, man. Like, I know Monument Hobby's white is probably one of the most acclaimed paints of all time, but I've used them in a lot of scenarios. There are some that I still really like to use. I've used them primarily the dark blue-black, or blue-black, I think is maybe what it's just called, for my Black Templars, because it was one of the first armies that I've painted in the quote-unquote more traditional style, you know, where it's base layer, edge highlight, other edge highlight, and I have used that for the edge highlighting. So they are good. They're not bad. Like, long story short, we're living in a golden age of painting, and this is, especially in the miniature painting side of things, I think they're absolutely incredible. But Monument Hobbies, if I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have to give you a B. It's not a paint brand that I utilize all the time. I will grab one out if I need to, but for the most part, for as many Monument Hobby paints as I've had, I've put a lot of them back into that box, and I haven't taken them back out, if I'm being honest. Citadel color. Citadel has been probably one of the most iconic paint ones of all time. I mean, it's usually where everybody starts. If they get into Warhammer, those are their very first paints that you pick up. It's 9 times out of 10 you are picking up Citadel. There's very few people that pick up these other brands right after buying their very first miniatures. You just kind of get it all in the bundle. That being said, there are some paints in there that I still think are great. I will still absolutely use them. I will still crack them open. Especially their teals, turquoises. I really like Temple Guard Blue. Some of the other ones like that. However, Citadel's going to B, because Citadel also has some paints that are absolutely dreadful. They are terrible to work with. Their coverage is terrible. Their pigmentation is not great. Their cost, let's be honest, the cost for Citadel paint pots is not great. I do use a lot of Citadel contrast, which honestly would bump it up a little bit higher, because I still think the contrast does very, very well. A lot of the colors in contrast are absolutely incredible. Some of the newer ones that are pure pigments, like Ball Red and Iron Fist Yellow and stuff like that, those have been absolutely top tier, and they're even better through the airbrush, so I think that that's been fantastic. That being said, one of my absolute all-time favorite chapters, the Dark Angels. Dark Angels Green is a very, very finicky contrast paint, and it's not great. Caliban Green is still great. I still use that a lot, but it's not... You're not using Citadel to get the S tier kind of paint job that you're looking for. You can glaze, you can do all this stuff with those paints, and also the paint pots. They do need to navigate away from those. The moment that Citadel actually puts them in dropper bottles is absolutely going to change a lot of people's game, just on that alone, which is a testament to the paint. I think a lot of people will pick up more of the Citadel paints if they actually put them in dropper bottles, but in the meantime, alas, they're in paint pots. On to the next one. We have Reaper paints. Actually, you know what? I don't know why that says D. That's an F. That's a fail. I've picked up some of these paints. I got them at a discount at some hobby shops. There were some blues and other colors that I thought, you know, maybe this would be good. I will say they're great for glazes because they are thin and do not cover. But if they are your paints that you're trying to do a base layer or anything basic like that, no. Just do not, no. Don't put your money there. I genuinely do not think they are great paints. I would recommend the Army Painter, especially, infinitely more over the Reaper paints. Again, you can use them. There are plenty of people who do and do great jobs with them. that, again, tools in the tool chest. These are just my opinions. These are just my experiences. Take them as you will. But for me personally, Reaper gets an F. I never break them out. Duncan Rhodes, 2 thin coats. Where do we sit here? I backed wave 1. Actually, did I back wave 1 right away? I did back wave 1 right away. Or no, I did not back wave 1 right away. I decided to wait and see how they shook out. So I waited, and then wave 2 came out, and I was like, all right, I think I'm gonna make the jump. So I got both waves, got them all set up, got the, picked them all out. Honestly, very impressed with the 2 thin coats. I use them very regularly. I gotta figure out perspective here, man. I got the 2 paint racks over there that I use very, very frequently. Of my reds, when I was talking about the Army Painter reds, I usually use the 2 thin coat reds. They are some of my absolute favorites. They cover very, very well. The opacity is very good on a lot of the paints, which is fantastic, and they do use the triad system. The base layer, mid-tone, and highlight, and I think that really sets them up for success. That's very good for an introductory painter. Duncan has obviously done an incredible job painting all his miniatures. He does have the Painting Academy. They are really just Citadel Plus. But now on to my gripes. There's a few, just very, very, very small gripes. Right now, the paint range is not that large. It does still need to expand. There is wave 3. I didn't back wave 3 because I honestly was waiting on it. At this point, this is also going to be a little bit of a nitpick. I know that this is something that I'm sure they're working on, but none of my local game stores still have replacements for wave 2. Wave 2 is still not being fulfilled or in any way or supplied here. It's been kind of a pain. So because I didn't back it, I don't have restocks for my Wave 2 paints, which is really, really unfortunate because I do really like my Wave 2 paints. And I would love to get my hands on Wave 3. I would love to get my hands on Wave 3. I would love to try those out because there are some colors in there that I would absolutely adore. I just decided not to at the time it came out. But for me, Duncan Rhodes, 2 thin coats, goes up to an A. I think they are absolutely incredible paints. I think they do a very good job. Again, the biggest thing that they're lacking is the paint diversity, but in terms of their coverage, they all do very well. I do use them very, very frequently, and also Dragon's Gold, in my opinion, is still probably the best gold paint I have ever used. If there's gold on my miniatures in the past year or so, it's more than likely Dragon's Gold because its coverage is immaculate. It flows so smoothly. It's easy to clean up too, which is another big thing for me, especially, is basically if you're operating on the basis of, when you paint and sometimes the paint settles in or dries really quickly and then you can't get it off. 2 thin coats has been really easy for me to clean up mistakes, which has been absolutely monumental. So 2 thin coats for me goes up to an A. All right, and that's my ranking for the paints and the paint brands that I have out there. Please let me know down in the comments if you agree, disagree, what you think. What's your favorite paint? What's your favorite paint color out of all these ranges here? I would love to hear what you have to say. But that's going to be it from me from Tattoo Tabletop. But what was that thing there? I know there's something oh, that's right. Take these paint brands and go paint something.